Find a reply on if the remontoirs and the
Sorry,
Balancewheels
I was
are
talking with my
reduced?
friend and he had some questions. Like, do you speak German?
Ein bisschen, ja.
Okay, I think you wanted to say something in German.
Hallo, schönen guten Tag, Frau Lederer. Wir
Ja,
sind hier
hallo.
mit 35 Leuten am Schauen. Wir haben über die Uhren seit 3 Jahren gesprochen und es ist uns eine absolute Ehre, dass wir die Uhren zum ersten Mal wirklich hier richtig sehen können.
Ich muss Stopp machen, weil wenn
Ja.
nicht so viele Leute sitzen und wollen etwas korrekt hören, ich hole meinen Mann sofort, er ist da
Okay.
und er spricht seit Geburt Deutsch, also ich habe das gelernt von ihm.
Ja.
Also dann ist viel Respekt für Uhren, für euch und für Bernhard. Das warten Sie noch einen klitzekleinen Moment und
Das
dann
ist super nett.
Deutsch Original.
Okay, ganz herzlichen Dank, das ist super nett
Ja,
von Ihnen. Vielen
ja,
Dank.
und
Ja,
alle
danke.
Fragen stellen und dann schauen wir, ob er schafft.
Okay, vielen Dank, Dankeschön.
Vielen Dank, das ist ganz nett.
Ich übersetze das jetzt auf Englisch. So she said that she's very honored that 35 people are watching here, and in order to respect the audience, she wants to wait for Mr. Lederer to show us his watches.
Oh, good, he understood well. Okay.
Jetzt bin ich mal gespannt, wo ich hier lande.
Hi, sir. How are you? Nice to
Thank
meet
you.
you. My name's Nick.
I'm Bernhard.
Bernhard, nice to meet you.
So, and I'm here on telephone with whom?
Ja, mein Nickname ist Higgins. Ich will nicht meinen echten Namen sagen, weil hier irgendwelche Internet-Trolle da mithören. Aber guten Tag, Herr Lederer, erstmal. Wir sind hier mit 35 Leuten in einem Livestream und wir haben die Ehre, Ihre Uhren zu gucken. Ich persönlich spreche über Ihre Uhren seit 3 Jahren. Ich habe sie noch nie in Natur gesehen. Und es ist einfach toll, dass Sie sich die Zeit nehmen und uns die Uhren zeigen. Vielen Dank.
Inwieweit zeige ich Ihnen die Uhren, wenn wir auf dem Livestream sind?
Na, mein Freund hat ein iPhone und der kann über die Kamera kann er uns die Uhren zeigen, wenn Sie damit einverstanden
Okay,
sind.
jetzt verstehe ich. Ja, okay, prima. Also,
So Nick, you can turn on the camera,
auf Deutsch
please.
oder auf Englisch?
Bitte auf Englisch, das wäre besser, weil die meisten Englisch sprechen.
Okay, so thank you everybody. Unknown somewhere behind this telephone hidden.
Nick, turn on the camera, please.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
You're fine with that? Okay. Yeah. All right.
So,
Hello.
I'm here. Hello. My name is Bernhard Lederer. My profession is watchmaking. And I am, since the beginning, when I wanted to become a watchmaker, I'm fascinated by escapements. That is the reason why I'm driven. That is what drives me. And that is what let me vibrate in my profession. And if you look here to the watch, what is called the central impulse chronometer, I will show you to the camera. This is a watch what is based on an idea, on a development of Abraham Louis Breguet, called the escapement, the natural escapement. And this natural escapement, I will explain you, had been developed further by George Daniels. He developed the independent double wheel escapement and built this very successfully in 2 well-known pocket watches, the Space Traveler 1 and the Space Traveler 2. One of the most expensive pocket watches ever sold by auction. More than $4 million. And George Daniels was writing in his book that he considers this escapement as being the best escapement he can imagine. So when you read that, and when you know that George Daniels developed the coaxial escapement, I guess everybody will feel something's a bit strange.
Yeah.
How he can drop the best escapement he knows and make something what everybody knows it's a hybrid. It's not an anger escapement. It's not a direct escapement. It's half-half.
Hybrid. Yeah.
So it's a hybrid. The reason is very simple, and Daniels himself explains that the tolerances of this fantastic independent double wheel escapement are too tight to ever fit the case of a wristwatch.
So you slim
That
it.
is what he thought
Yeah.
and what he told, and somehow he was right. At least he was right if we take into consideration the machines he was using.
Okay.
But having only high precision machines is not enough to get it wristwatch in the way as we did it, because we did not only fit it a wristwatch, we also took care that you can wear it at each and any situation. You can make sports with it. We even tested it with VTT, how you call it, downhill racing.
That's
So
really
we-
impressive, the shock resistance and something
the,
like
the,
this.
the shock resistance is really, really amazing. And please don't be shocked when we look now here, and if the camera can go there and then let drop.
Oh.
Well, no,
you,
it's
Oh my
you-
God.
you see, it's still running, nothing happened, and if I let it drop down again, it will still continue. We developed a detent escapement in the way as Brügge imagined it, in a mirrored way. And the idea of Brügge, I try to explain it as yeah, in a transformed way. Just imagine there is a person standing, and the second person comes and pushes one person. She will fall down.
Yeah.
If there is a third person opposite and will push back the person, this person will not fall. It will go forward and back and forth and
Brace
back and forth and back.
Yeah.
It will be saved.
Yeah.
And that is the idea of Brügge, by putting two detent escapements mirrored against each other.
Makes sense.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Does make
and
sense.
there he was completely right with this idea. There's only one little problem. You have to ensure that those two escape wheels, they don't interrogate, that they don't interfere, they don't disturb each other.
Yeah.
I don't know
Independent, you're saying? Like they have to remain
They
independent
have
of each
to
other?
be synchronized.
Synchronized. Okay, gotcha.
And to synchronize those two wheels, Brügge put an additional wheel on each of those axes that had been interlocked.
Okay.
So if one escape wheel turns, the other is forced to turn as well.
Okay.
So by
that makes-
positioning them then in a good position, they never can
Never-
déranger
Yeah.
one the other.
Yeah.
Also there he was perfectly right. But Brügge did not take into consideration that when you suddenly have four wheels, because they all are connected to each other,
Mm-hmm.
you need 4 times the energy to accelerate them.
No, that does. It's
For
physics.
us, it sounds very logic, because we all learned in school today the laws of physics.
Yeah, it's just basic physics. Yeah.
But he did not.
Yeah, a little different back then, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and you can see that in many of the constructions of Brügge, the tourbillon, everybody knows that the tourbillon is far too heavy.
Yeah.
Therefore, the Glashütte people, they developed the flying tourbillon, what you can make already very filigrane and very thin, just to take away the weight. Brügge had no idea that the weight of a component in a watch has so huge influence. The same on the échappement naturel. He did not take that into consideration, and therefore he failed. And he abandoned his idea, even if it was really perfect idea.
Yeah. Interesting.
Today, you can see the échappement naturel at François Paul Journe. Karivuutilainen.
I love. I met
Uh,
Voodoo Island at Watch Time New York last year and tried on some pieces of his. It was the first time I had met him.
Don't
It seems
interrupt him.
Very impressive. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. My bad.
Okay, but I repeat, you have them at François Pauljour, Karivuutilainen, Laurent Ferrier, and in a special way also in the Freak of Ulysse Nardin, but there we have a different constellation. So let's concentrate on those three: Journe, Karivuutilainen, Laurent Ferrier. Why Breguet échappement naturel did not work, and why the échappement naturel of Journe, Laurent Ferrier, and Karivuutilainen is working? The answer is very simple. Today, our mainsprings are much more strong, and we have today ultralight materials at disposal.
Yeah.
So what they did, they just made the deviation around that difficulty physically by using extreme light materials. But of course, the physics law is still the same.
Yeah.
4 wheels from silicon need 4 times the energy than 1 wheel from silicon.
Yeah.
So the real solution was made by Georges Daniels, who took away those 2 interlocking wheels,
Okay.
and he freed the 2 escape wheels, and therefore he called his escapement correctly the independent double wheel escapement.
Yeah.
And he developed a device, what I call the metronome, what he placed between the 2 escape wheels. So when the balance comes and turns the metronome, it's liberating this wheel here, what can transmit down the energy to the balance, and is blocking this wheel here.
I think I'm following. Yeah.
When the balance comes back, it's turning the metronome, liberating that wheel, what is transmitting direct the impulse to the balance, and blocking this wheel here.
Just
And
like
this-
the example you were talking. Yeah. Okay.
And this forward and back and forward and back is like the person what we push, what is never falling down. So that is working perfectly. In addition to this, we had to find a possibility when lifting up the frequency from 2 Hertz to 3 Hertz, because Daniels made for pocket watches with 2 Hertz. We had also to find a solution to ensure the woodworking when you have it on the wrist. Then you make so abrupt movements that provoke low amplitudes suddenly, and this you have to ensure that also there this escapement will work. That is the engineering what we made, what we have now our patent on.
The new
on
technology
on
patent,
this new technology.
Wow.
I have a question, Mr. Lederer. Is
Yes.
it correct to say that that your movement has 2 detent escapements? Is that fair to say?
Yes. There are not 2 detents. If you want to be very splitting the hair, there are not 2 detents in, but these are 2 detent escapements using a form of a detent that is cleverly made in a way that it works for both escapements.
So instead of a detent, you're using the metronome. Is that correct?
Yes, therefore we call it metronome and not detent, even if it is detent working on 2 sides.
Okay.
Yeah. I think your advantage of your detent is that you don't need the spring loading of a proper detent escapement. Is that correct?
This is very correct, yes.
Yeah. So people are here in the comments. So first of all, our big donor, our big boss says, Bernhard Lederer, amazing watchmaker. Congrats on winning GPHG 2021 with Central Impulse Chronometer. And Higgins, that's me, is fan of your latest remontoire pieces. You haven't been talking about your remontoires, which is also double. But you're too modest to say that. Vielen Dank for joining us, Bernhard. Great Breguet story. Yeah, I was quoting, I'm famous of bringing up that story. I grew up in Stuttgart, and you were telling that story that you met up with your brother and were hitchhiking to London. just to
Yes.
get George Daniels' Breguet book. Is that correct?
Not the Breguet book, the watchmaking.
The watchmaking? Okay.
Yes, watchmaking by George Daniels.
Okay, I
It was
thought it was
published
a very...
No. The watchmaking was what interested me because my teacher in the watch museum where I learned, he was not my best friend, let's say. And when I read that there is a British watchmaker called George Daniels, that name did not tell me anything when I was a student. But that there is a watchmaker who wrote a book explaining how to make each and every component to build up a watch completely from A to Z. I decided, no, yeah, if my prof in the museum is not willing to show me everything in detail, at least there is a British guy, so I will buy his book and then I can look there for the details. And as it was not available in Germany, I decided to ask my brother if he would join me for this trip to London. And there it was available. So I had my book nicely wrapped and packed under the arm and then back to the highway and back home.
Yeah, Mr. Lederer, people call me crazy for being so interested in those crazy watches. But in terms of craziness, this is a story. So you beat me by far with
I'm
that
so
story.
sorry.
No, I give credit where credit is due. So it's very interesting, and just like I said, I can't wrap my mind around the fact that you've been able to solve a problem that Breguet struggled. Admitted that you have modern technology compared to George Daniels, but still your dedication and your passion to solve this riddle is really appreciated and respected.
Thank you very much. And it was so nice when we could clearly see that Breguet was right with what he thought, that if you mirror two detent escapements, you have a merveille, you have a lovely, perfect escapement. It was confirmed by George Daniels, and I thought, if it is really so fantastic, let's put a little bit cream on top, or pepper and salt, whatever is the taste. And therefore, I put it in those remontoirs d'égalité. Because if you have a perfect machine, you want that this machine is running all the time very stable to become the most reliable chronometer you can imagine. And with reliable, I mean that he shows you at each and every moment the right time. I was a little bit, let's say, nervous about the fact that people are so much fixed to the COSC certification.
Yeah.
Because the COSC certification tells only that a watch is on the right time every 24 hours. No? When you give a watch to the COSC certification, they take a picture of the position of the second hand,
Okay.
and after 24 hours, they take again a picture. And if your second hand is then in this frame, what is permitted from -4 to +6, it depends on the size of the movement. But if it's in this frame, then your watch will be certified. But everybody knows when you wind your watch and you wind it full, is it going lower or faster?
I'm sorry?
Is it going slower or faster when it's fully wound?
It's fully wound. I mean, I thought the whole thing was to keep it consistent throughout.
But
that
if you
with the
wind the
coax.
watch completely, it's running fast.
Really?
And then it will
Slows down
as a
or something.
mount when it slows down. And the tricky thing is, if you want to have a COSC certification, you have to ensure that after 24 hours you are back again on the good time.
In that range.
Yeah?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But nobody is interested at the COSC certification how precise your watch shows the time in between those 24 hours.
Yeah, that's important too.
And this, I think, is important.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah? And just because precision timekeeping came up when the seafarer needed a precise time to navigate
Yeah,
on
maritime
yeah.
situations.
Yeah. So just imagine, and it's a joke now, the captain is asking his navigation officer, please tell me our position. And he will look on his wristwatch and will say, oh, I'm so sorry, we still have to wait 4 hours to be in our rhythm of 24 hours where we know that our watch shows precise time.
Yeah.
That is ridiculous.
Yeah,
Yeah?
it is, especially in the middle of the ocean, for sure. It's a problem.
Of course, today we don't need that anymore. Today we have the GPS and so on and so forth. But just if we talk about precise timekeeping, I think it's interesting to find a way to make a watch with a perfect escapement also stable
Yeah.
in its perfectionism. And this is made by the remontoir d'égalité, who is delivering always the same energy. Nearly the same energy, because we have a rhythm of 10 seconds. But within this repetibility, oh no, no, maybe it's the wrong wording, but this repeating always 10 seconds volatility, we can accept it's not always the extremely and very same energy. It has a little variation, what is of 10 seconds rhythm, but that is given through the whole power reserve. And therefore, we have precise timekeeping during the whole power reserve.
That's amazing. I mean,
Mr. Lederer, we have two questions here in the panel. One question is there any challenge that you're presently working on it?
You went
And
out for a second.
Is there any?
Is there any challenge that you're working at the moment that you're trying to solve? And can you disclose it, or is your life-term goal achieved with the central impulse chronometer?
No, as I told in the beginning, I became watchmaker because I'm fascinated by escapements. The central impulse chronometer, what we presented here and now, is the first escapement of a series of at least 5 escapements. The second escapement will be presented latest next springtime here during the Geneva Watch Week. We are finalizing the prototyping of the third escapement. We received the patent approval of the fourth escapement, what we will bring, and the fifth we have sketched it out and fixed how it will work, but there we are still not in the construction. So you see that we are there on a really nice collection. And those are 3 escapements that are like the central impulse, based on historic important sources, on historic escapements that we further developed. And 2 escapements are completely new, never seen the light before. I will not disclose what will be the escapement for the next, for the chapter 2. But it will be an escapement in an execution that never had been made before. The type of escapement, yes, is well known, but never in this execution.
Thank you very much. It makes total sense, and I can't wrap my mind around the fact that you're still trying to optimize escapements. So I have a personal question, Mr. Lederer. I proudly own a Lange Tourbillon watch, and people
Yes.
always tell me a tourbillon is obsolete because it was invented for pocket watches, so it has no relevance today. And I tell them, okay, tell Global Force that a tourbillon has no practical meaning. What is your opinion about that?
That's a very tricky question. I will not answer directly, and I have no problem with Global Force, but because they know my opinion. A tourbillon is always a kind of handicap for a movement, because you add additional weight what has to be supported by your escapement. You can compare this and you can say, okay, I make a company for moving furnitures, and I make this with deux chevaux, avec a Citroën, the little Citroën, the duck.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the remorque what you put behind is a remorque of 7.5 tons. So that is not a good idea for the car and for the engine.
No, not at all.
It will work. Your company will run. People will love about you and say, oh, they are really challenging. Yeah? And this is the tourbillon was invented, as people say, probably by Breguet. The others think it was Arnold. In any case, a tourbillon is a handicap because it's heavy.
Yeah.
This is reason why Lange und Söhne developed the flying tourbillon. The flying tourbillon has the advantage that the cage is not anymore needed to be so solid as in the Breguet tourbillon. I will not go to details why that is the case. We can make once a session only talking about tourbillons. With pleasure, I will do that. And Glashütte also invented something what is called in the literature a half-flying tourbillon. This is a tourbillon that does not need a cage anymore.
Okay.
It's a very funny, very nice construction. I made a series of those half-flying tourbillons nearly 20 years ago in 2005. We called it the MT3 tourbillon. The half-flying tourbillon is as I said, a tricky idea because the cage of the flying tourbillon has only two functions. He is carrying the piton, so this piece where you fix the hairspring, and it is carrying the upper stone of the balance staff.
Okay.
Yeah?
Okay.
So if you put the hairspring below the balance wheel, you can fix it on the base plate.
Okay.
And the upper stone of the balance staff always stays in the same position.
Okay.
You
No, I
must,
think that makes sense. I'm following.
you must not rotate it.
Yeah.
Yeah? You
Just
can
still.
put it to a fixed bridge.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah. I'm
In
following.
that case, you don't need a cage anymore. What is going around
Okay. Yeah. You don't need
of the
the Torbie
balance stuff.
cage. Yeah.
Yeah?
No, that makes sense. It's
Yeah?
logical.
It
I follow
makes
that. It
sense,
does make sense.
physically sense, and I made this, as I said, with the MT3. There's only one disadvantage, and this is an optic disadvantage. People looked at it, and as I told, it's a tourbillon. They looked at it and said, no, that's not a tourbillon. And I said, what? Why? Yeah, because I don't see the cage.
Okay. Of course, right?
Yeah. So, yes, there are possibilities to make a tourbillon what is without weight. And on the other side, it is true, a tourbillon today with the quality of balance wheels, what we are able to produce today,
Much higher quality.
we will not have this point, the unbalanced balanced stuff. That was the problem at the time of Breguet. If you look to the balance wheel, what we have here, now they took away all the watches. We only have the inverter. I'm so sorry.
You've been robbed. You've been robbed.
When we take this modern type of balance wheel, this is made from titanium. So titanium, a balance wheel made on a turning lathe, is so equal in weight, and titanium has nearly no dilatation when you change temperature. So you have hard work to do to bring in here a situation where you have an unbalanced balanced stuff.
Yeah, challenging.
So the need of a tourbillon is not given anymore, but to make a tourbillon cage elegant, ultralight, is a very challenging job for a guy who is filing those little components really to precision. But today you take a wire erosion, you have technologies to make those cages ultralight. This is not the challenging job as it was in the past.
Yeah, different
The
with the tech today.
tourbillon was considered as being the coronation of watchmaking, not because it's so perfect in making precise watches, not at all. It became the king of, or the coronation in watchmaking when you are a tourbillon maker.
Yeah, the penultimate for sure.
Because it is so difficult to make a
Yeah.
cage ultra light. If it is a heavy cage, the pallets of your anchor will fall out because it's the pallet of the anchor who have to stop this mass what you move. The whole cage is moved forward and is stopped by the tools of the escape wheel against the pallet.
Okay.
The pallet is glued with gum lock into the anchor.
Okay.
And this hitting with the whole mass of the tourbillon cage is taking out like Mike Tyson hitting you to always on your teeth.
Yeah.
You will stand quite a short time only. No?
Yeah.
And the coronation in watchmaking, this tourbillon making, is nothing else than challenging to make the most light cage.
Okay.
And this really is and was in the past challenging.
That was the challenge.
Yeah? That was
Mr. Lederer, with all respect, I would like to disagree with you slightly, because in my opinion, making a tourbillon cage light is one thing, but make it beautiful is another thing, and that is where Lange and Söhne shines with those beautiful flowing lines. It's very difficult to make it light and beautiful. That is where I disagree with you.
No, but I did not tell that this is not the point. I said this is the point where it became and where it was considered to be the coronation in watchmaking.
Yeah.
To make it light and of course also parallelly make it beautiful. So if you work hours and hours to make something light, you will not have it ugly. Huh? Because there's no difference in the work if you make it beautiful or ugly. So always you look for a beautiful form because the hours goes in the work of making it light. And the beauty comes from this filigranity.
Yeah, I agree with you there. By the way, we have here some comments who say Mr. Lederer is a true genius. Can I add? I have no doubts that you're a genius, but I know that you have been really working very hard to achieve that level. So I would say a genius is not alone. The genius is not alone. It's very hard work and always learning.
Yeah, no, I disagree. I thanks for those comments, but I disagree. I'm not a genius. I'm just someone who is sorry. I have one illness, let's say, the illness to be curious.
Yeah.
I'm extremely curious. I want to know always everything. Why? I nerved all my teachers with this curiosity.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to have a real explanation. I don't accept if someone tells me, shut up, just take it as it is. It's like that.
Yeah.
This is the worst what you can do with me. Always I ask how you do it, why you do it that way, or why it is like that. I need explanations and I love explanations. And if people explain me, I understand it.
Yeah.
And therefore I'm simple, nothing else than only curious. And all what interests me, I remember. I'm not interested in electronics because this I don't understand, and I did not find anybody who was able to explain me how electronic functions. So I don't understand it. And there you can see I'm not a genius because if I would be a genius, I even would understand electronics. So I don't do. I'm simply interested, extremely interested in all what is mechanic, all what is physics, the mechanic part of the physics. And this I can say there I know a lot, and therefore I also know a lot in escapements. but genius for me is,
You're humble. I get it.
yeah, again, another level where I'm not humble.
I respectfully disagree with you because genius are experts in the field that they're passionate about. And
Yeah.
you will find a lot of geniuses who even can't cook an egg. So I respectfully disagree with you. It's enough when you're genius on one part.
I'm able to cook an egg.
Yeah. So, Mr. Lederer, I will shamelessly make a self-promotion. I'm running a watch enthusiast a YouTube stream, just like we're having this conversation right now. Would you be open to join me on an evening of your choice and have some sophisticated watch talk? Would that be acceptable for you, or would that not interest you?
No. Look, when I spoke about my teacher who indirectly forced me to make hitchhiking to London to get those information I was searching for, it is clear that I want to be different. I don't want to hide anything. In our companies, we have 27 people. We have from very young watchmakers who just left the school. They are good in the theory, what they learned in school. They have to start now their real apprenticeship, and that is my pleasure to show them all what I could learn, all what people explain to me, that I can transmit this. This is what makes me happy. Therefore, I love all the watch collectors who drop in here. They ask questions after questions after questions, and when in the late evening I consider and I have to state that I cannot talk anymore, that's the moment when I know I had a good day.
Thank you very much. So I take that as a yes, that you're willing to educate us. And please let me give you the compliments. You said you wanted to understand and you were asking questions when you don't understand something, but you also have a gift to explain things that are really complex and very difficult to understand, particularly for people who are not educated watchmakers. I mean, you're talking here to normal clients who are buying watches and barely understand what a Swiss anchor movement is doing. So kudos to you, respect to you, to have the ability to really make that understandable for us.
Okay.
So thank you very much.
Okay, you're back.
Thank you.
So we
And
have, yeah.
Pleasure. We can stay in contact.
That would be great. Nick will take your card and I will reach out to you in German or in English, or whatever you want.
Depends how many people are listening. If these are only German people, I prefer ever to talk in German.
No, it is unfortunately an international one. You have to use your English, unfortunately.
Yeah. No.
So there is one.
Few things I'm able to explain in English, and if needed, I will tell you in German.
Yeah, that would be fantastic.
So we always find a way.
Yeah, we have one more question here. Are there any new materials that are under development that show promise for improving your watchmaking and your escapements in the future? Are you working with fancy materials new?
If you give me the definition what are fancy materials, then I can maybe answer that question. I do not like silicon.
Okay.
Because if silicon is so delicate, you cannot correct anything, you cannot retouch anything. And when I learned in this watch museum, I was in front of so many watches and clocks that from the dial you could see that they showed many interesting indications, but when you took away the dial, then was empty behind. And it took me quite a long time to understand why. And the reason is quite simple. The watches went for repair. The watchmaker took it apart and cleaned everything. And after, he was looking at it and said, I don't remember how that was assembled. So he takes away all additional things and only gets the watch working again, making tick-tack, showing time, explaining his customer that all those devices that made the watch too complicated, I took away. Now you have a very, very good working watch again. And this is something what I dislike very much. And the same would be when you use materials what you cannot retouch as a watchmaker.
Yeah.
You would have the same effect.
Yeah.
And I do not want to provoke such an effect. So if I would use silicon materials, once broken, they're broken. You cannot repair them, you cannot retouch them, you have to redo it. And who will tell me, ensure me, that in a couple of years you will have someone or find someone who will be able to redo a piece in silicon in the very same way as you made it and needed it?
Is that why so many watchmakers dislike the silicone? I mean, it seems like it's a common thing.
I dislike it, and I received a lot of watches with escapements made in silicon, where the companies asked me to find a solution to exchange it against other materials for the escape components. Once you have a shock with a piece made from silicon in the anchor and in the anchor wheel, and you have a not planned contact,
Okay.
you have a little splitting off of material, and then silicon is very aggressive. No?
Okay.
It is like when you have a corner of a glass shivering off. Yeah, you can cut yourself there where it was smooth and polished before, and the same is with silicon. So it becomes once broken or a little bit start to be broken, it becomes immediately aggressive, and then it's destroying all the other parts it's in contact with.
Yeah.
No, I like to make researches on specific materials. We are working on one material, what we take out from a recycling process. But that still is a material, a metal, what every watchmaker can work with a file, with a drill, with the tweezers. Yes, I'm very open for, but if fancy materials are materials like silicon, then I'm not with you.
What do you think about that, Higgy?
Well, yeah, he was replying the question honestly, and that is, I was listening to him, and I was forgetting my next question. I remember it now, Mr. Lederer. I was asking that to the beautiful lady that we've been talking previously. So you reduced the size of your CIC from 44 to 39 millimeters, and
Right.
I know that it took a lot of redesigning your movement. Now, here comes my question. Did you also reduce the size of the escapement, means the balance wheel, the escapement wheels, or are those the same size?
The escapement wheels I kept. But these are the only two components, those two escape wheels, they are identical in both, in the 44 and in the 39. All the other components are recalculated, redimensioned, remade. Everything is different.
Wow. Wow. I mean, I really applaud you for making such a complex movement in a size 39 millimeters. That is insanity, and I really can't believe that you managed to do that. And I have the greatest respect for you for creating those marvels and now reducing it. I always like the inverse, because in my opinion it's such a beautiful idea that you showcase that those beautiful movements not on the back of the watch but in the front. I think all high-end watches should be made by that, and should go that concept.
No, because
No?
ours one of many. let it out.
Yeah.
We made
That,
a nice architecture, and I'm you're for years sitting behind your bench and you work out and you design and you file and you polish and you modify and you try to find something what is pleasing you, and you never know how other people may react on it. But then to show it and to have those feedbacks that tell you, yes, you made it right, that is so wonderful. This is like the petrol station for your car. You fill up the tank for the next drive.
Yeah, but believe me, I'm very stingy with compliments. So I'm only complimenting people when I really feel that. I'm not just doing that for sounding nice or doing. So when I tell you I have such a great respect for you, I really mean it, and it's not a normal thing. So we have here somebody else in the comments. They're saying we should wrap it up with your okay. I think we are finalizing the conversation. It was an absolute pleasure to talk to you. Thank you very much for the time that you took. We wish you all the success, and hopefully we will talk another day about that crazy stuff that you're doing. Thank you very much. Vielen Dank, Herr Lederer. Es war super. Es war mir eine große Ehre.
With big pleasure.
Danke.
See you next time.